Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the hell you are in the world. And here is a very surprised, very last minute live with us and Star Trek. My internet's lagging like crazy. I apologize.
Actually, a
Matthew
bit better now
joined
we've
us.
gone live.
Huh?
It's a bit better now we're live. I don't know why.
That's a bonus. No, then it slows right down again. And then if I do that in a second, I'll speed up. My kids are about to leave the house, so they'll go off their games and it'll speed up. It'll be fine in a sec. But anyway, we have a very interesting conversation to have because I've managed to get a little bit more information about some of the pitch meetings that were done last summer, thanks to one of my sources at MGM. And I guarantee you, Matthew, at least one of these pitches is going to make you very, very angry. So
I can probably guess who pitched it.
so let's get into it. But first of all, just very quickly, we'll do the intro. So we know about Penguin and a Parker, and we know that Bad Robot pitched. We haven't up till now been able to tell you what Bad Robot's second pitch involved. That's the bit that's going to make you angry, and we'll leave that for a little minute. So we'll tease you. Oh, come on, speed up. I keep thinking if I do something, maybe it'll get the internet to work faster, but it doesn't. Just quickly say hello to everybody. Trekgate, hi, Popcorn Power, Marvelous Spider-Man Multiverse. We can only hope. Trekgate's in the thing. Jordanator, you're with us. Who did else I see? Sarah, hi. Blah blah blah. I am. How you diddling? So we'll try and chat to you guys as much as we can. Gotta tell you what, I moved to a new house. I used to have no problems with my internet. I moved to a new house and it's useless. But as long as you can hear me, we'll be fine. So one of the first things we've never really spoken about before is Eric Kripke. So I've heard Jenny Stiven mention this a couple of times that the guys behind The Boys did pitch. But we never really knew what they pitched. We never really knew who it was because there's about 10 different production companies behind The Boys. So it's I'm really pretty when I'm in slow motion. I'm realizing. But Eric Kripke Enterprises was actually one of the creators, along with Seth Rogen, that actually sort of developed the original Boys idea. And we are finding out now that he did actually pitch for a TV series. So, hey, Adam, how you doing, sir? Davey, we've been talking about you today, Dave.
Google of him as well. He also did Supernatural. He created the Supernatural.
Yeah. So he, for me, actually is one of those people, a bit like Mark Fergus, that I don't have a major problem with him getting involved in this. I actually think it would be really, really interesting if he did. I just think it would be. He's got the right pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And he's developed projects like this before. Hey Andrew, mate, it was very last minute us going live today, so then maybe that's why. But you're with us now, so hey. And David, thank you very much, evening, sir. I can't really, dude. You have me tripping balls. Sorry, Adam. We'll get to it though anyway. So I actually think Eric Kripke is a really interesting one. But apparently he very much followed Amazon's brief for this. So Amazon basically got Penguin and a Parker last summer to do a Bible for the project. So a production Bible. So it basically tells you the story of Stargate, the important bits you can't mess with as canon, and maybe some areas that you could. And we've always said this might be a bit of a hybrid reboot, we keep calling it, don't we? That they'll be allowed to change some things. And because of the gap, I think that's going to be quite important. A creator's going to have to do that, or there's just certain things that just don't make sense otherwise. Yep. So yeah, his pitch was apparently a bit like Penguin and a Parker's, but obviously he created the production Bible, so you can expect Penguin and a Parker's pitch to be pretty much on point. The reason why I'm saying that and bringing that up is because none of the others were. None of the others seemed to read what Amazon told them to put, and they just went, nah, and did something completely different. So, but Eric Kripke and Penguin and a Parker very much did. For God's sake, it's so distracting that I'm going in slow motion. I'm just going to have a drink now, see if the drink appears in my hand while we're talking. They're leaving now. There you go. And then I speed up for a second, and then anyway. So I think those two we can put to one side because we've talked a lot about Penguin and Parker's pitch, even though we don't exactly know what they were talking about. We know they were bringing in certain. I was told basically think of it like an SG-1 revival, so it would be very much around that formula of a show, a movie. I've got some news about the script that he created, but that's going to be for another video. So Eric Kripke, you happy to move on from that? We think that's probably about right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. The one company we've not heard of pitching before, and this was a complete surprise to me, is Heyday Films. Now, apparently they have also pitched. What do you know about Heyday Films, Matt, before we... Oh, sorry.
Not a lot other than what you told me at the beginning. They did the Harry Potters.
Yeah. So they did all the Harry Potter movies. They did Gravity. They've just done Barbie.
They did Yes Man as well.
They did Yes Man. Wonka. So, you know, they've done some good films. They've done some TV as well, but I've not really seen any of it. So there's nothing that jumped out at me anyway. So, like I said, this is a British company. It's led by a guy called David Heyman, who used to work for Original Pictures, did a couple of other things. He's quite a big thing as well. If you look at the Harry Potter work, you know, some of the work they did there is interesting. You know, the way they developed that from a script, you could say there's similarities to what they're going to have to do if you pretend all the original Stargate series are like the books and they've got to develop something based on that. They did quite a good job with Harry Potter.
I think they did a really good job.
Yeah.
I mean, there are certain parts of the books that they didn't include, but that's always going to happen when you're adapting a book to a film or a TV show.
Anything where you're doing a different medium is different because it requires Tell you what I'm going to do. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to turn my Wi-Fi, but it means I'm going to... No, I'll tell you what, I'm going to drop out for 1 second. I'm going to come back in again. All right, because it's irritated me. So 1 second.
Okie dokie.
So you just talk amongst yourselves.
Let's talk amongst ourselves. Hello, everyone. This always happens when we're on Harris's stream. His internet will go, and then I'm left here. So hi. Couldn't get into Potter. I guess I'm too old. So Harry Potter for me was my childhood. I grew up reading the books, and then...
Let's see if it helps.
Yeah, I grew up reading the books, and then the movies come out. And as soon as the movies come out, I think I kind of stopped reading the books. The last one I probably read.
I saw the first book. Yeah, I saw the first film, loved it so much. I then read all the books in about a week. But
I used to literally, as soon as they came out, the books, I would be first in line, not first in line, but I would go there on the day and buy the books.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't read them, I just wanted them.
Yeah. Let's just talk about this very quickly. What's a better idea, this or SGU animated? I don't have a problem with an SGU animated movie. I don't... People are getting really angry about this idea, about doing animated movies around Stargate. What would you rather? Let me ask you a question and let's get into the, you know, Andrew Chandler, no excuse for bad internet. There's got computers. I've got kids playing the pigging, their computer games. They've gone now, though, and it's still really slow. What would be worse? An SGU animated conclusion movie or no conclusion at all?
Not having a conclusion for me. I would much rather have a conclusion in some form, whether it's an animated movie, whether it's a comic book, whether it's a short, like, novella kind of thing. Like, I want a conclusion. I don't care how we get it.
Mm.
And I think an animated movie could do quite well, because you look at the likes of like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Yes, it's like a property that's already done well in animated form, but the most popular form, well, not most popular, but the most successful, like commercially, would be the movies, which are all live action. But even taking that into account, Into the Spider-Verse is like just as commercially successful.
Right. Yeah, I know Jordan ain't saying that. I want a conclusion in live action. So would I. I argued in my video when I was talking about this. Just I do not want anything animated that they could do in live action. If they're going to do it, if that's an option, do it in live action. But the way I would see it is, it's more Stargate.
Yeah.
So why not? You know, it's just like, but I wouldn't love it. At the end of the day, I don't mind animation. I'm looking forward to the B5 animation, but that's not possible to do in live action. It's just not possible. So they've done an animated movie. And I'm like, that's great. But I won't enjoy it as much as a live action movie or a live action. I just won't, because it's a cartoon. But I'm still looking forward to it. And I'd still rather have it than not have anything.
Yeah.
You know? So that's just me.
I think when people think about cartoons and Stargate, the first thing you're going to think of is Stargate Infinity. And it's not really a fair comparison to make, because Stargate Infinity was made for kids, and it was it wasn't designed for us, basically. It was designed for a younger audience to get interested in Stargate, and that's why we all hate it and think it was a lot of crap, because it was for us. It wasn't for us.
No. But this is like a Star Trek Prodigy has just been cancelled, and I really like Star Trek Prodigy. I know you're not a big Trekkie, but I really like Star Trek Prodigy. It's like watching a dubbed movie. Yeah, those Chinese crap films. I'm so sorry, guys. It's really annoying. It's annoying me as well. It keeps distracting me as well. It's a pain in the ass. Hopefully, it'll come back in a minute. But Prodigy was basically a Star Trek cartoon made for kids, put on the Cartoon Network. But then all the references were to do with like Star Trek Voyager. So only 40-year-olds understood any of the references. And weirdly, no one watched it. And I'm just like, yeah, that's exactly what we expected. Why did you think anybody would watch this TV show? So yeah, they've got, if they're going to do it, they've got to pitch it at the right level and everything, you know. I'm just going to switch where I get the internet from. Just a second. Hopefully that will maybe. I've got an extension. We'll see. So nope, made it worse instantly. Oh, it was fine until you joined.
It's my fault.
Absolutely perfect, and then you joined. But anyway, you can hear me, so stuff it. So if we get back to the pitches then. So what Heyday pitched, they immediately came in and pitched. Initially, apparently in August, they pitched a TV series. And then they had some really positive feedback, but they immediately came back and pitched a movie. Apparently, that was going to be around. They actually pitched a hard reboot when they pitched the TV series. And then they came back and they basically pitched. They wanted Kurt Russell to come back. That was one of their things. So they pitched it. But apparently the feedback the second time was with Amazon saying, look, it's too close to a hard reboot. This is going to upset people. It's, even though you've listened to the brief and you've sort of said it's not a hard reboot, it is. And that was, you know, a difficulty for them. I'm just going to not look at my screen and then I won't be distracted by it. I don't know loads about the storyline that Heyday were bringing in, other than to say they were going to bring back a bad villain in the Goa'uld that was going to make a return, and they were going to be trying to seek revenge on the Tauri for basically wiping them out and destroying the System Lords. So it was all about, and it was going to be more of a almost like a political intrigue, because, you know, like the Goa'uld were on Earth, and they wanted to do something that was real and gritty. No spaceships, no all that sort of thing. and it was going to feel more like I say, more like a political espionage movie almost, rather than a sci-fi movie. So, right. I mean, what do you think about that as a basic premise? It's different.
It is. It's different. I mean, I've said it before. There are certain Goa'uld out there that could potentially come back to seek revenge on the Tauri. I mean, even if it's not a major system lord that we've seen before, like obviously Baal can't come back because all of his clones were killed. Apophis can't come back, but Anubis could come back. But even if it's not, even if it's not one of them, we didn't wipe out the Goa'uld as a species. We didn't commit genocide, so they could very easily rise to power again, or at least attempt to rise to power again. So yeah, it's an interesting premise. I think it's the Goa'uld. When you think of Stargate, the main villain you're going to think of is the Goa'uld. Yes, there were obviously other villains in Stargate, but when you look back at it, they were the villains that were the most prominent. So if you were going to do a reboot, they probably make the most sense.
And I think going back and touching base with the original Stargate movie series, whatever, as well, is not a terrible idea. When we heard about Bad Robot's first pitch, and we'll talk about their second pitch, or we'll truly piss you off in a minute. The first pitch had Ra coming back, and they would, and apparently, I've spoken to somebody that's seen a lot of one thing. They're sort of like, do we explain how Ra comes back? And the answer is no. He just does. And I'm like, that's been done in films before, that a villain just comes back. We don't know how, they just do. And I'm just like, is that seriously? We seriously doing like Michael Myers' version of Stargate now? That you know, a villain just comes back and they're just like, how did he survive? And I'm like, don't worry about it. He just did. He took a nuclear weapon to the face and he's fine. Yeah, he's fine.
I mean, if the theory that Ra was an Asgard is true, then I mean, put him, go back into a clone body, I guess. But like, that was never established in canon. It's always been a fan theory, and I don't want that to be real.
Yeah, exactly. The Asgard thing I get, and they could also, I don't know, I suppose there are ways. Maybe they're saying he's had a personal shield. I know we see him sort of getting vaporized, don't we? But maybe we're saying that he had a shield or something and he survived. But however, Mark makes a point. Palpatine came back, so why not? He didn't look very well when he came back, to be fair. He looked a bit poorly.
Yeah. Palpatine returning was also very stupid. So
yeah, it was ridiculous. I'm in two minds about this. I think this idea of doing sort of like a political intrigue type thing, where I think it's an original idea. I can't think. I can think of Stargate episodes that sort of went along these lines as well. So it could sort of like run along lines. Very classic.
Baal was probably the Baal storyline where he was on Earth posing as that businessman. It sounds similar to that, and that was brilliant.
Yeah. So, hey, Aaron's joined us, so let's get Aaron in and to join the conversation.
Hello. I'm on my phone, but I'm not at work this time, so everything will be steady, no weirdness.
Brilliant. And I've got a crap internet today anyway, so I can't complain. But how much have you heard about what we've been saying?
Nothing. I was out running errands, and then I saw the message, and I'm like, crap! So if you could TLDR it for me real quick, that'd be great.
Well, we've just been talking about the pitches that were done last year regarding Stargate.
Okay.
And we're up to Heyday Films pitch. But they pitched this idea that they were going to do this political intrigue type of thing where a Goa'uld was trying to take revenge upon the Tauri, but it was said it was going to feel much more like a spy thing, a spy movie, a political intrigue movie, very gritty, very down to earth, no spaceships, no big sci-fi concepts. I think, and we're just saying our opinions. The one thing I quite like about this idea is that the fact that 15 years have gone by and a lot of the problems that we've talked about in the how do you set this movie and where are we with the technology and all that sort of thing kind of is irrelevant. You don't have to worry about it too much because you can set this in quite a small, it can be set in the bowels of government sort of thing. So they can sort of like sidestep some of the landmines that maybe other projects have got to figure out a clever way of dealing with. So, yeah,
The
I don't know.
problem with that though is if they do go down that route and they just don't acknowledge them, whoever then follows has to then deal with that, and it makes it probably a little bit more difficult for them.
Yeah. Joe, my kids have actually left and it's still a problem. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, I'm going to give them a tenner each and tell them to get out. I don't think they'd go for it. They love their Xbox more than they love me. So, yeah, I don't know. So, just do a continuation. Just Marshall, thanks so much for the contribution, sir. Just do a continuation of the series and bring in a new SG team and old guards, sending them off. Best route to appease everyone. That is basically what the Penguin and a Parker pitch was. That's basically it. So, except a few of the stars from SG1 we're going to stick around. You know, leader of the new SGC program, political, a civilian leader or something. It's the same thing. But what do you think about the general idea, Aaron?
I've always been a big political intrigue guy, like mystery, cloak and dagger kind of thing. So I do definitely find that intriguing. I mean, I just watched the Secret Invasion just premiered this week, and
I'm just one second. I'm going to restart and come back.
Okay.
This is really getting on my tits. You guys talk about that premise idea, and I'll be back in a second.
Yeah. I got you, man. But so and that I thought that one started off pretty well. They set up all the nice cloak and dagger stuff in that. So I wouldn't have a problem with Stargate doing something like that. I don't know that they should completely eliminate all the sci-fi stuff from it. There's ways they could easily work, a couple spaceships and a couple, gun battles and whatnot into an intrigue show. Intrigue shows, by definition, generally have at least a few action scenes in them anyway. More often than not, they are hand to hand. But look at the Bournes. Obviously, that was Bourne movies. Obviously, that was grounded, but they had hella car chases. There's no reason why you couldn't expand that in a sci-fi show to even an atmosphere. Yeah, even if it's an atmospheric chase, you could still have the X-23 or whatever the most recent version of that is.
Yep.
Battling say brain fart.
You could have an
a Death Glider. You could have our version of the Death Glider having an atmospheric dogfight with the new Goa'uld and whoever, the new villains, original style Death Glider or whatever. So I think you could ease SG West. Yeah, kind of.
SG West Wing.
I would say probably something more akin to SG Born Identity or something like that. It sounds something that proposal, at least to me, sounds more like something along those lines rather than more of a West Wingy thing. But yeah, I like the idea. I just don't think they need to completely exclude sci-fi aspects. I don't think that would be too hard to work that in.
There's going to have to be elements of it because at the end of the day, there's an alien.
Yeah. Other than that, you just get Andor, which is a cool show, but nothing to do with Star Wars, really, other than the fact that they mentioned the rebellion and the Empire. Yeah.
No, true. Do you want to talk about the pitch that's going to make you angry and the title of the movie, of the episode? So today,
I've been triggered all week, so why not?
Go on then. Go on.
So Bad Robot did a pitch, like we mentioned earlier, where they were going to do. They wanted to bring Ra back, and they did a pitch where it was going to be Kurt Russell and James Spader in the original part.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, Amazon basically told them very early on that is too much like a hard reboot. That's not what we want. You need to come back with something else. The problem is they then came back and they said, we've solved the problem. It's not a hard reboot. Multiverse of Madness. And so they basically said, why don't we get O'Neill with one L and O'Neill with two L's into the episode? So they were genuinely pitching to try to get Kurt Russell and Jack O'Neill. The idea of the basic premise was that a Goa'uld that had lost and that we had defeated here was using Ancients technology to go into a new universe where the Gold World didn't exist. Somehow, our Jack and Kurt Russell's Jack was then going to go and meet a third Jack in this new universe. And the idea was that we were going to travel there to stop the Gold World from basically invading a universe that didn't have Gold World in it. Now, this was going to be very much along the lines of what we've seen in Stargate and canon episodes. And that was their argument. People can't get upset about this. We've already done it.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You've already done it, so it's not a good premise for a movie. Don't do it again.
I mean,
Stargate Continuum was literally
that.
No,
go, Matt. I'm sorry.
Continuum was literally that. Ball created an alternate reality, an alternate timeline. It was more time travel than alternate reality, but it created an alternate reality.
Yeah.
If you then and that was the last movie we got. Or was Arc of Truth the last one we got? No, Arc of Truth was the last one. Whatever. If you then create a new movie, what's Continuum the last one? Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Well, if you then create a new movie and you do exactly the same thing, essentially, it's a bit of a what's the word? Cop out. Oh, I think just multiverse in general is a cop out. I really like multiverse stories. Some of my favorite episodes from Stargate were the multiverse ones with the quantum mirror. Where they have to go back. Is it the quantum mirror? I think it is called the quantum mirror. Where they go and the Goa'uld are like destroying another Earth, and then they save like alternate Sam, alternate what's his name? Kowalski. Like they're interesting episodes, but it's something that's been done a lot in Stargate. I don't think it needs to be a movie. I don't think that's a good premise for a movie.
Yeah.
Because it's just taking a very easy way out from something that's already happened in the show. It's basically the equivalent of, we have this truck in our driveway. How do we get rid of it without moving it? Oh, we have Zat Nicotels that can literally disintegrate it. Because you have something in canon and it's the easiest way to get rid of it rather than let's do something interesting to get rid of it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And that's the problem, is that we've got too much technology, maybe, that a lot of these problems can be solved too quickly. And I think that's one of the problems whoever ends up coming into this is going to have. Whereas maybe that's why a multiverse... I think the argument, though, is that they've already implied that Stargate is a multiverse franchise.
It is. It is. It has the multiverse in it. But they don't really interact the same way a multiverse does. They're very self-contained episodes. They're very they meet each other once, but they'll never meet each other again. Yeah. Whereas in a multiverse, the characters will interact at least semi-regularly.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I think having a multiverse of Stargate characters where they interact semi-regularly is a terrible idea, because they could, in theory, as soon as any problem crops up, use the quantum mirror, look into it, and then go, let's find a universe where they've already solved this problem and ask them. And then, what's the point?
Yeah, that's basically what they're doing, yeah. Yeah, it does. Again, my problem with this is it's been done before, hasn't it? Where they've had to go into... I mean, this is basically those episodes where they go into the multiverse at the end of... Was it season 1 or season 2? Anyway, the Goa'uld World have attacked and defeated the SGC in the multiverse, so we have to go over and help them.
Yeah. Maybe season 1. Where Daniel finds the mirror.
Yeah. The problem we've got is we don't actually know which pitch won. This pitch could have won.
Could have done.
We think it's going to be Warner Brothers that are going to be making this. So that really does put Heyday Films and Bad Robot very firmly in the spotlight. Bad Robot obviously has an exclusivity deal with Warner Brothers, and Heyday Films is, well, the Harry Potters are all done with Warner Brothers. So one of those pitches could have won this. Heyday Films are arguing that this should be a hard reboot, and Bad Robot are arguing this multiverse nonsense. And multiverse is popular at the moment.
Yeah, Andrew Chandler in chat just said, are people not getting fed up with multiverse by now in sci-fi in general?
Yeah,
I am. I'm incredibly fed up with it.
It's lazy.
Everything has a multiverse now. The Flash had the CW verse, and every single character, even though they weren't on the same Earth, ended up interacting with each other. That was really annoying. Marvel obviously now has their whole multiverse. The DC movies are now doing a multiverse, and it's a cheap way of just bringing in, like, you can try a character, like you can try a concept out as a standalone, and then just like, oh, now they're in the main thing because multiverse, and I don't like it. I mean, to play devil's advocate here,
yeah. Which we have to do. Let's not don't like it. Let's actually try and...
A multiverse / a time travel based story would be a very, very good way for them to essentially not start new, but to start without all of the hanging threads that come from the previous 3 seasons. Because they can explain it away by saying this happened in the movie, and when we defeated them, when we changed the timeline, or we went to this alternate reality or whatever, this changed. It's an easy way of doing it, and it might be an option for I mean, the way I'm envisioning it, which in my head is palpable to watch, is they have a story where they have to, I don't know, this reality is dying, or a reality is dying, and essentially they end up being stuck in another reality where everything is the same but a little bit different. So maybe they don't have all the technology that we have now. Maybe we never got the Asgard core. Maybe we didn't actually go to Atlantis. Maybe the crew of the Destiny aren't stuck anymore. And they could actually have a series based in this alternate reality, but the characters are from this one, so it's still canon.
Okay.
I don't know. This is just top of my head kind of thinking, but
right, Aaron, eat your dinner and then come back. I'm sorry, it's bothering me. I love Aaron. He's brilliant, but eat your damn dinner and then come back. Yeah, I know what you mean. Lots of little differences. It opens up lots of different story ideas, I think, to explore, and then it's just going back to that argument. It's been done.
Yep. And Nowhere Near Over just said, sounds like a bit too much like the Abrams Star Trek movie, and I fully agree. It's not a great idea, but if I was to make the best of a bad situation, I don't know. Maybe I'll do something like that. But
I think that's a brilliant idea. And apparently, Naren Shankar has had conversations with Amazon, potentially about being involved in this. So, at Penguin and Parker's at Mark Fergus's request, apparently. So, I keep arguing that a lot of sci-fi tries to be too clever sometimes, and that actually these things are just simpler than this, that they don't need to be so overly complicated. But what they're going to try to do here is they're going to try and shoehorn in Kurt Russell.
Yep.
Because he's a big film star and they want a film star. And they're going to try to then shoehorn in SG-1 because they know the fans will go nuts. And that will be where they start the premise. We need something that with Kurt Russell, Richard Dean Anderson, and a few other stars from SG1, and you need to respect all of the canon across the board. And then the writers, they're going to be going, crap, how do I do that? And that's when we then get crap episodes of Stargate, Star Trek, Star Thing, when they try to do this and they try to force something from the beginning rather than just trying to do something good. Aaron, give us a wave when you've finished your dinner and you want to come back in. It's immediately waving.
Yeah, no, I was actually on my last bite when you booted me, so it's just a bagel. But no, I get it. That's distracting. I wasn't thinking. I was just hungry. All right, so at its most basic level, if you're dealing with sci-fi, you're dealing with astrophysics, which means you're dealing with alternate dimension theory. They just all go together on a basic level. Now, when it comes to creating a sci-fi show or TV series, obviously your first decision is going to be how deeply, or if at all, do I want to dive into that mess? And if I do choose to dive into that mess, how am I going to do it well enough to where people won't be like, all right, I've already seen this crap on like 3 other IPs and I'm tired of it. So on the face of it, I don't have too big of a problem with the idea, but with what's been coming out lately, i.e. the Flash flopping multiversal movie, all of Marvel's Phase 4 and the first little bit of Phase 5 has all been, well, 95% of it's been mid to crap. So if they do take that pitch, I think in the current climate, that would be an absolutely horrific idea. Now, if the Flash was blowing up, as Phase 4 for Marvel hadn't sucked for the most part, basically, if people hadn't been given like garbage multiverse content for the last 2 years, it wouldn't be as bad of an idea. The problem is they're working against history right now.
Yeah.
So,
actually, to be fair, if they did this 5 or 6 years ago,
even 3,
because it's already in canon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not doing something. This isn't like J.J. Abrams when he did that, basically thinking he was being clever and created this split timeline, and everyone is like going, whoa, where did this come from? And with Stargate, they'll go, we can do this because it is canon. We've done it before.
Yeah, I think the timing is probably the worst part of the idea. Like if they'd have been, on their horse and gotten this pitch done with early 2020 after Phase 3 of Marvel finished, when Infinity War and Endgame, like when that stuff was still very popular and very cool and everyone was like, woo, that would have been the time to do it. Now is not the time at all. It's other franchises have already killed multiversal aspects, at least probably for a good year or two at this point. So
see, I would prefer.
I think it's more of a timing issue than anything. And then after that.
Oh, he's gone. I didn't kick him that time. That wasn't me.
No, you didn't. He's actually gone. No, I would prefer, rather than a multiverse story, I think a time travel movie. Something that involves time travel, because this is just me thinking off the top of my head. It could appease. Why are you here?
I didn't mean to do that. I was just suddenly thinking, oh God, I've made errors. There we go. I was just suddenly thinking maybe if I used my phone, it wouldn't lag.
Okay.
But then I didn't think about closing this before. I didn't mean to open it.
Anyway,
maybe
I'm thinking a time travel
Chandler's joined.
could be slightly better, because it would appease all of the people who want to shoehorn in Kurt Russell, because you can literally do a time travel movie that goes back to the original movie, or at least ties in to around that time.
Yeah.
And obviously you can have actual Richard Dean Anderson, you can have Amanda Stappen, you can have all of the new people. I say new people, the people that we actually care about, as well. And then you can use that as a vehicle to change some things that you maybe want to change for the future, to make the story makes sense in the future, like technology wise, I guess, like make it so, I don't know, something that they chose to do in the past has a ripple effect in the future, and therefore that thing is no longer happened. They still have the knowledge of it, but they don't have the physical like locations of like certain planets. Maybe they don't have, maybe they didn't actually go to Atlantis, so they don't have, like, the Wraith never woke up or something like that. I mean, I wouldn't actually suggest that as an actual thing, because then you'd have to like redo the entire Stargate Atlantis storyline. But I don't know. The biggest one I can think of is the Asgard core. We never got it. The Asgard just, maybe we never, I don't know, maybe we never became the fifth race in their eyes, and they never gave it to us because of something that happened in the past.
Yeah, we became godlike at the end. We were equal power with the Asgard by the end, which is a big problem. But Ron Mars got a big point, and I think it's really important. And it's a big problem with Star Trek at the moment, that they keep going backwards instead of going forwards.
Yeah.
And this is what this is, I think sci-fi fans are sick of it. We want to go forwards. We don't want to go backwards all the damn time.
I want to make it known, I don't want either one of those scenarios. I don't want a multiverse story. I don't really want a time travel story, because I want it to continue from where it left off.
I don't mind,
but
either of those scenarios. I don't mind a time travel movie or a multiverse movie or something like that. I just don't want it to start with that. And because what they're going to do, I do not want a J.J. Abrams Star Trek thing that you go, well, it's Star Trek, but it isn't. It's not really. So, are they going to have an SG panel at SDCC? Right. There has been some. I'm sorry. I'm scratching my nose slowly now. So there is Marvel currently are not going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. Warner Brothers are not going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. Who else was it? Universal is not going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, and Netflix is not going to be at San Diego Comic-Con.
All eight are going to be empty.
Yeah. Well, the main reason why Warner Brothers isn't going to be there is because they've got no major sci-fi projects to talk about. Basically for Max. So I have to think about what it's called now. What's it called this week? Max.
It's just going to be Ma next week, and then it's going to be M.
And then
and then it's going to be X.
I love this channel. It's the best channel ever. So at the moment, Amazon can pretty much go in, and a couple of people basically have told us, including one person that's quite close to it, that Amazon are going in force. And that was the word they used, in force. So it is very possible that we will have a Stargate panel. Seeing that they've gone to every other thing in the last, every other Comic-Con in the last 12 months, I think if they can, they'll go.
Yeah.
That's the way it'll be. So the short answer is right now we don't know. The long answer is very possibly.
It's going to come down to SAG.
It really could. But right, we thought the directors might not ratify that deal they came up with. There was a lot of rumors, and there was a lot. But it sounds like we even said in the video when I talked about this, though, that is it allowed minority, or is it showing us that they might not ratify this? Now, actually, they ratified it by 87%.
Oh, that's official now, because I knew the vote ended yesterday.
Yeah, so it's been ratified. The directors have agreed it. That again takes the legs out from under anything else. So
at least till SAG does whatever it is they're going to do.
Well, SAG have voted that if they don't get a deal by the end of the month, they will strike. That's what they have currently voted. And it was a massive, it was like 97%.
All right, so we got a week on that one then. Just end of the month or next Friday.
Because of the people I speak to, I've basically been told that a lot of the studios went nuts Wednesday and started phoning around agents and things and started to try to get stuff planned to restart. And there was basically the guy I spoke to said the phones haven't stopped ringing. Basically, I think that's probably because they got whiff that just before it was officially announced that the directors were going to ratify, and they're taking that. This is just me 2 and 2, +4 sort of thing. Reading between the lines, that they think because of that they're going to get a deal with the writers, and because the basic idea is that once one of these people agree, then that gives a blueprint for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, the Writers Guild loses face if they start demanding things that the directors have agreed to. So they're sort of like, come on, the directors agreed. Why can't you? Sort of thing. So all of a sudden, I think they lose a lot of the window that sales goes. SAG-AFTRA is basically the same problem, yeah. I like Adams there said, whatever they do, we're going to watch it. Yeah, we will.
The question is whether or not we're going to watch it. The question is whether we're going to like it and then praise it on YouTube or crap on it on YouTube. That's the question.
I'm always honest on this channel. It's one of the things I pride myself on. I try not to be negative. I try not to be positive. I just try to be honest about what I think. So if it's crap, you'll see me cry. I mean, live on a live stream. If I come out of the cinema and this movie's shit, you will see a grown man cry.
When it comes out to the cinema, we should go together.
Yeah, okay, let's do that.
How far apart do you guys live? Just out of curiosity.
Not that far.
Oh, okay.
About an hour and a half.
I mean, I'd love to go with you, but I don't have a passport, so.
Okay, they won't let you have one. No, that's because you eat on live streams. They won't let you have a passport.
Yeah, probably.
We saw him. Don't give him one. We don't let him out the country. No, I would go let him out the country. So don't let him back.
If they knew, they would not only let me out, they would probably usher me out.
Right. To fix my internet issues, I will get an Ethernet cable. Matthew has already explained to me that I've been naughty, and I'm just there going, I don't know how to get it past my front door, but yes.
I've
a lot of Cat 6 and a drill.
No, you don't need a drill. Just get a flat cable. A flat cable.
My other option is to come through the floor.
That's the one I would go with personally, rather than having a cable up and down doorways. That's just me, then.
Well,
even if it is,
you go under it.
Yeah,
I have to go around because I've got hard tiles downstairs. I can't go under. There's no.
You take the tiles up, and then you put it under. Then you put the tiles down.
You come and do it. They're glued down.
It's like Jay does not look. Really, really Jay does not look like the type that enjoys chiseling grout.
I'm hard enough to put.
I had to pry. You know that metal strip on your door. I had to pry that off to put it under, just to put it back down. That was glued. I mean, it's fine.
You underestimate my laziness. I'm just gonna get my dad to come do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on top of that, a metal strip will flex. If he tries that with tile, they're just gonna shatter.
But anyway, let's have enough of my internet issues. It keeps coming. It's fine now. Look, it's gone good. Look. So we'll just recap. So this is everything we know, right, about the pitches that we had. Eric Kripke pitched. He pitched a TV series. He pitched it very much along the lines of the plot that he had, and he basically we're quite happy with that. Penguin and Parker did the SG-1 revival, and this is what they've pitched as, that it's going to be very much around the formula of SG-1. Heyday Films were very keen to do a hard reboot. They seem to think a hard reboot was the way to go. And Bad Robot are morons. That's basically everything we know so far about this.
Now, you said Eric Kripke? Is this the same Kripke that created the Supernatural on the CW?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Okay, and what was his pitch again? I'm sorry.
Last summer. Around August, and then again in November, they did pitch.
No, what was it?
He very much did just a. I haven't really got a lot of details. But it was going to be a continuation, and it was going to be along the lines of roughly again along the lines of like an SG-1 revival sort of thing, but it was a different story. But,
Okay, well, I mean, I'm down for that. Well, number one, I'm down for a revival / continuation above any other option. And number two, I personally am a big Supernatural fan, so I Stargate the Winchesters. I mean, kind of. It could end up being that. I think Kripke's got a little more imagination, but I personally am a big Supernatural fan, so I'd be down with him or Mark Fergus, because they both kind of, from what I'm hearing you say, they both basically have kind of the same idea. And obviously with Fergus's history with The Expanse and my own personal experience with Kripke and Supernatural, I would say that those are the top two personal choices of how I hope they would go with things.
Yeah, that's basically where we're at, and we think because again, their thing. I will try to find out a bit more about what Kripke actually pitched. I need to have a longer conversation with the source, but it's interesting that they apparently they came in, they stuck to the brief, and we know what the brief was. We knew the brief, that it was to stick to the Bible that Mark Fergus had created. It has to be a continuation, and it has to stick with at least. I was told about 80% of canon. They're not allowed to mess with any more than about 20%. They can change.
I'd prefer 10, but that ain't bad.
Well, the main thing for me is don't change the look of things.
Yes.
That winds me up with Star Trek so much. We'll just change the look, and then we'll just like the gold still need to be the gold. We've already changed them once. They're already different to the movie, but then they've had 10 years setting up what the gold were.
If they have a gold and then his eyes are on fire rather than glowing.
All right.
Yeah, it's like the all right. I don't want that, because that's changing something that was very well established. I mean, they did change stuff in SG-1 anyway. They changed that Nicotel. Like, they just stopped using the disintegrate thing.
Yeah, they realized
too powerful.
They used it once or twice, didn't they? When
I mean,
get rid of the evidence of what they've been up to.
They used it in 1969 to get rid of that box.
Yeah. But no, I anyway. Multiverse of Madness.
Great movie.
It is madness. It is madness.
Yeah.
Great movie. If you like Raimi.
I hated that movie.
Are you not a Raimi fan? Because that
I am a Sam Raimi fan. A lot of the time, that film was maybe too much. But it was the same problem with Marvel, that they didn't spend enough on the special effects, and they were distracting at times. And it went on a bit. I did love the fight scene between Scarlet Witch and the alternate
Illuminati
sort of thing. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, but yeah, someone said like, why don't put a team together? The Boys is brilliant because there's like 8 different production companies all working together. Why couldn't Kripke and Fergus work together?
Oh, they could. I personally don't see a reason why they couldn't. I mean, call me practical, but the more minds you have on a project that all already agree that the original material is worthy of the utmost respect, which is a big issue in Lucasfilm right now, but I will not digress further than that. That would be, for me, ideal. Like, even if they were to say they got Fergus and whoever wants to do somehow they managed to get Fergus and Bad Robot together. If for no other reason than for Fergus to keep Bad Robot's ideas in check and marching at least mostly along the line with canon, that's even a scenario I would be okay with, as long as Penguin and Aparka were the ones that had the final say on what is or is not in the movie and could keep a leash on Bad Robot. But overall, I would love to see Kripke and Penguin and Aparka combine their ideas. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I just think Mark Fergus, I'm just hoping they really haven't tried to be clever with this, or that politics hasn't got in the way. Because if they decide to go with Warner Brothers might basically say, you're not working with them. We're more than willing to have this deal, but you've got to work with either Heyday Films or Bad Robot. And we would actually love you to work with Bad Robot because we've got this bloody exclusivity deal we can't get out of.
I mean, if Amazon chooses to work with Warner Brothers after The Flash, that's just freaking dumb, and we're probably screwed anyway.
Yeah, well, they've got lots of problems. They've got lots of projects already in the works with Warner Brothers.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm talking about specifically Stargate, though. I don't care what else they do with them.
Yeah. But, I mean, that was the old DC. We have to remember that the Flash had all the same problems as old DC. We're not going to be getting that. Hopefully, this is the end of the Snyderverse, and we've got one more movie to come, haven't we? And then that'll be it, hopefully. But,
we got Blue Beetle and Aquaman too.
Oh, crap, I keep forgetting about Blue Beetle because nobody cares. Yeah. I've seen
supposedly Blue Beetle is going to be the actual first gun DCU character introduced.
Well, yeah, but apparently the Flash was good.
The Flash's problem was less the quality of the movie itself, but the CGI was just whack beyond description. Those babies looked like the same people did the babies that did The Rock's scorpion hybrid critter at the end of The Mummy Returns. That's how bad that was. And the overhype, the supposed people, Zaslav getting Tom Cruise and other big celebrities to call it like this spectacular movie, and they spent the last year and a half doing it, and then it didn't live up. I mean, what the hell do you expect to happen at that point? So I would say I still don't trust Warner Brothers just because of they had the mentality that they could force that to work, and it didn't. So what's to stop them from getting that same moronic mentality when it comes to our Stargate?
Yeah, and that's the problem. So I do think there will be business involved in this, and Amazon at the end of the day are a business, and that's how they think. We know that that's one of the reasons why we're getting a movie and not a series, because they've taken a business decision. They've already got the budget. They've got this plan, so they've gone, well, why don't we use some of that to make a Stargate movie? Instead of what is right for the franchise, they've done what is easy for the business model.
Yeah. But I mean, now I think that's the problem with all our IP currently, is they're all sliding into that trap at this point. Like it's all becoming a very, very corporate at this point, which, I mean, I can even see a scenario where, like, say Amazon does everything completely right, all us current Gators are happy, and they also manage to bring in a whole new audience and everything's slapping. Eventually, the corporate stuff is gonna, the execs are gonna get in there and they're gonna be like, well, we're a publicly traded company, and we need to do this, and this to maximize profits, and they aren't gonna care if it hurts the franchise. And I regardless, even if Amazon starts off gangbusters with this and everyone loves it, us and normies and newbies included, there will come a point in time, probably within 3 to 5 years, where the corporate BS is going to start leaking in, and we're going to be like,
yeah,
that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, just hire Shona Rhimes, that way we can have Stargate Anatomy. That's very good, Dave. That's very good. All right, then, guys. Thank you so much for jumping in. I had to share that with you. I will try to find out more. What we need to find out is who actually won. Yeah. And nobody seems to know. So, to me, we're trying to keep it very, very quiet.
I mean, while I would love to know more details of Kripke's pitch, if he's not the one they picked, it kind of doesn't matter. So I agree with you. I think which pitch was accepted is the first priority, and then if it happens to be someone whose pitch we know less about than others, then we can worry about delving into those details later.
Well, the important thing is as well that we have to remember that Amazon have rejected some of these pitches that we know about because they've said it's too much like a hard reboot. So that's important. But anyway, look, Matt's got to go have his dinner. I've got to go and fix my internet. I'm going to have to go order an Ethernet cable.
I'll send you a link.
All right, mate, and we'll get that sorted. I'm going to have to go through the floor, though.
Yeah, I got errands I got to run this afternoon, too. Well, for me, it's afternoon. You guys enjoy your evening.
We will have a lovely evening. Thank you very much, sir. everybody, thanks for joining us in the comments as always. The guys that have contributed with chats, super chats, really appreciate it. And Matt, I know you were a bit rushed today, so thank you so much. And guys, Matt is currently editing a video that I think a few of you in the chat will be very happy about. But we have
if it works.
If it works, we'll get it to work one way or another. But for the moment, health and safety guy is retiring, and PR guy is coming back. Health and safety guy will be back. Calm down.
I was going to say that was some of your best. That's some of your best stuff, bro.
Yeah, nobody watched it.
What?
I enjoy doing it. It's fun.
All right. Well, chat, you hear that? We need to share the health and safety guy out because that's prime stuff, at least in my opinion.
Thank you
so
very much.
Get to work, chat.
I enjoy doing it. But there we go, and we will be back very soon for another video. So we will not be live tomorrow, guys. So sorry about that. But anyway, say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.